Good to see you. How are you?
You too, man. You too. Good, good. It's been a
Everything?
while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
I miss getting together with people, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like in my own bubble. It's sometimes it gets lonelier. I mean, I got Yoni and everybody, but it's no meetups, no
Yeah.
networking right now. So
I know. I miss those. I miss
yeah.
those meetups and stuff.
How's
But
everything
there's
with you
those
and the
Zoom calls
family?
and stuff all over the place, though.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's everything with you and the family?
They're good. They're good.
Yeah.
School started back up, right? And then they got the hybrid model going, and then they had some hiccups with the pickups because a lot of people aren't taking any buses, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, my daughter is 6, so she's a first grader and actually completely remote right now. So poor girl, she's on computer trying to figure it out.
Oh, really? They didn't give you an option to do a hybrid or?
No, it's Framingham is completely remote
Oh,
until November, I think. So yeah,
okay.
it's online only. Yeah.
So you got your hands full at home too.
Oh my God. Yeah. I was working from home yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Hey, I'm glad that you were willing to do this. So I'm having these conversations with people, obviously over Zoom or over phone, and
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be good, to share with others, right? Just because I learned a lot from this. I had Andre the other day, and he had a project in Worcester, and we're talking about his project and what worked, what didn't. I had someone from the Gloucester area the other day, and everybody has different stuff that they're learning from it. So I think it's extremely valuable. So that's the whole idea, is to actually record this, share it with the meetup group, and I'm sure there's going to be golden nuggets in there for the next person that wants to either flip a house or looking for a property, right? What to look for. So that was the whole idea of the call. I had someone from Needham the other day. I still have to share that call. It just, the quality of internet wasn't good for both of us, so it's not the best, quality of video. But I think they had some really good feedback too. What worked in their project in Needham. So without going too much into that, why don't obviously I know you, but for everybody else that doesn't know you, that's going to watch it, like, what's your background and
Sure.
why?
Yeah. So I started my career as a project manager in Verizon, and I did that for many years, and then about 10, 13 years ago, I decided that hey, I'm always interested in real estate, so why not get my license? And I got it, and then I was doing real estate part-time for about 11 years or so. And then a couple years ago, things just didn't look too good at Verizon and stuff, and I just kind of wanted to do something different. And then I got some traction in real estate sales and all that stuff, and so I was fortunate to be able to say, hey, let's go real estate full time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
William, why did you choose real estate, instead of another side business or something else?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's always been, you always hear, wealth is built through real estate and stuff like that, and it's something that's, safer than the stock market. And it's something that's physical, like you can see it, and it appreciates all the time, and we've been told that it appreciates and everything. So just got interested in it, and
got it.
And there we go.
Cool. No, that's awesome. And I'm always curious to find out, why people get involved in it. But yeah, I totally understand. I mean, real estate, it's a slow process, right? It's a slow, investments take forever, first of all, right? But overall, if you're willing to stick with it, it turns into a really good wealth building, business.
Right.
So I was curious. I mean, I've been kind of asking you here and there about the project in the South Shore, but tell me more, because obviously I just know a little bit about it. And so let's talk about how you found it. What did you do as far as raising capital, and what type of finances you used to buy it? and then we'll go into the rehab scope of work and the numbers on that end.
Sure. Yeah. So the way we found it, we've been, in the real estate business, you're associated with, and you get to know a lot of agents and stuff.
Yeah.
So I, built the relationships with, agents to kind of like talk about what I'm looking for and all.
Yeah.
And as an agent too, I was able to look for stuff on my own, but then there's other areas that, I wasn't focused on. So my buddy, who we play hockey with, he grew up in the South Shore area, and he found the place, and it was on MLS and stuff, but I wasn't looking in the area, so I didn't know.
Right.
So he got it on MLS and said, hey, this is a good opportunity. Why don't you try for it?
Yeah.
And then before this project, we've been looking, elsewhere and different areas, and put some offers in and stuff, but didn't get it. So this one came up, and we just said, let's go try it, and then let's go put the offer in, and and then we got it. So it was pretty amazing. It was kind of scary at first, but.
No, I know exactly the feeling. I've been there, so I know exactly how that feels. Initially, it's like, is this the right decision? Did I buy it right? What did I get myself involved in? So this was your first flip, right?
First official flip, right? I did reno for one of our condos that we have in Brighton and stuff.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a flip on that.
Okay.
And so this was like the fifth, but it was a big flip too, because it was a ranch.
Yeah.
And it was like a gut, new roof, everything. So
yeah,
it was a big
scope of work was pretty good. I mean, it was pretty big. Okay, so first of all, let's start with purchase price. How much did you pay for it?
Sure. So we paid $215.
$215, got it. And how did you figure out if $215 was a good price? Like how did you, just curious on the thought process when you bought it? How did you run the numbers?
Well, I mean, I did a lot of the CMA and stuff like that around that area, and at that time there wasn't a lot to compare it to. Maybe there was like one or two that was pretty solid as a comp.
Yeah.
And at that time, that was good enough for us. So we said, I think we can make a good profit from that. From what we want to do to get to that ARV.
Okay.
And then we just kind of went for it. The thing was, it was listed at 150, and there were a lot of offers. Yeah,
there were
multiple offers on there.
Wow. So they listed at 150 and they got 215 pretty much, just because of multiple offers and people overbidding.
Right.
Got it. What town is this in?
This is in Halifax.
Halifax, yeah. Got it.
Massachusetts, which is next to East Bridgewater, Hanson, and all that area, the South Shore.
Okay, East Bridgewater.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we have a project right now actually in East Freetown, so I don't think it's too far from Halifax.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So on the MLS, you guys paid $215. You gave me an idea on the location, which is good because it just puts things in perspective. Right. What's next? So did you have a contractor? Did you actually do the work yourself? Let me go back for a really quick second. How did you raise the capital? Or was it just bank financing, or what did you use to buy it?
Actually, because this was kind of the unknown for us, as in terms of like timing and all that stuff and everything. We actually financed it ourselves.
Got it.
So we paid cash.
Okay.
For it. Mm-hmm.
Got it. And then
which is not the smartest thing. Which is not the smartest thing to do, but.
Honestly, the fact that you paid cash, you didn't actually pay any points, right, to hard money lender or paid interest, right? So you saved on that. So the fact that you guys had your own cash definitely gives you a break on those costs, right? Because if you had to go borrow from a hard money lender, obviously it's going to be at least 2 points, right? 10 or 12% interest annually. So that's an expense that at the end of the project, it goes to them and you don't keep. I mean, you guys paid cash. I think that's a benefit. Plus, it made you more appealing on the seller's, eyes, right? When they were selling this property on the MLS, there were multiple offers. You guys paid cash. That's how you got it. I feel like that was the winning ingredient right there.
Right, right. And we also did a quick close as well, and then we also um, bypassed the whole offer. So we just kind of went straight into the PNS, and then
Yeah.
we put a bigger, earnest money deposit down.
Okay.
So I think that helped us, secure the property.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, that's great. Did you do an inspection like right before buying it, or?
So maybe that's one of the things that's a lesson learned.
Yeah, we can talk about lesson learned right from the beginning. That's the whole idea of this. I mean, let's talk about the good and the bad. I'm the first one that I like sharing the bad actually more than the good.
Yeah.
There is a lot of talk, especially on social media and all over, that real estate is all profitable and all, and it's not. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I've been burnt, a few times myself. So there's things that you can't tell from when you start a project, right? Because you got walls that are covered and all that. So there's multiple things that can go wrong. So I'm thank you for sharing that. So lesson learned in what meaning?
So because the agent that helped me out was a buddy of mine, and then he's done rehabs and stuff like that himself. So
yeah,
I because everything was kind of in like let's get the offer in quick, right? So because Halifax from Metro West is a long way, right? So I didn't have a chance to go there to take a look.
Yeah.
And so I kind of bought it sight unseen. I know that's not the best way to do it, but at that time I kind of wanted something to get started with, and so there's a ranch, right? Three bed, 1 bath.
Yeah, what can go wrong? Yeah, I mean, honestly, a ranch and capes are the easiest, from them all, right? Compared to an older colonial or something, or some other weird shape house. The ranches are easy, but obviously, I mean, a lot can go wrong with it. So yeah, I mean, if you were doing a ton of this, and then you'd have, then you probably have a number as far as like, hey, I'm spending $50 a square foot, and you can put that into your rehab budget, right? And kind of, you don't have to walk it, but I personally like to walk a property every single time. I mean, you might have foundation issues, you might have low ceilings, you might have weird layouts that you cannot fix, and those, for us at least, are deal breakers,
Right.
And I've seen ranches, typically they have a good enough headroom, but I've seen some with really low ceilings, and you can fix that. I mean, whatever you do, I mean, you can technically, at the end of the day, you can fix it, but it's going to be a lot of money, right?
Exactly.
And it's a big negative, like low ceilings or a weird floor plan. Those are things that are hard to sell the property at the end, right? So, yeah, now definitely lesson learned there.
Yeah.
I mean, worth doing a walkthrough.
And also, it's good to see, the neighborhood, and all that stuff. So so without seeing it, like I didn't realize the neighbors next to us was, it's suspect, not suspect, but like, like it's not like a well-kept properties, right? So that was one of the things I worried about. When I went through the whole process, you could remodel the house as nice as you want, but then if you have a neighbor or neighbors that isn't the prettiest.
No, look, you can say that there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely. I have one right now in Needham that we just closed, that next door neighbor is a hoarder, so whatever you do with this property, I mean, that one, it's going to look terrible. So who wants to move next door to that?
Right.
So that's going to affect the price. I know I'm kind of stepping ahead here, but did that affect the price at the end of the day? Do you think that mattered for, how much you got?
Well, the funny thing is, and it depends on the buyer, right? So like some buyers, like the neighbor had like chickens and like dogs and all that stuff, right? So at the end, after we sold, I talked to the new buyers and stuff, and she actually loves that. She's like, I love the chicken, I love the dog. She just loves nature. So it actually was a good fit for her.
Okay.
But then when we were selling the house, some feedback that I got was that, there's some issues, with that.
I don't like that. I don't know if I can find someone in Needham that'll be like, yeah, I love junk, I'll move here. You know, that fits me. Cool, man. No, that's good. Yeah, definitely walking the property would be, it's important. And I need to be reminded of that, because sometimes what we do is we send our acquisition guy out with a price.
Right.
He gets it under agreement, and we don't visit the property after that, you know.
Right.
And the best way to do it is actually to do another, you know, walkthrough or inspection, maybe with our project manager, and you know, see if there is something that the acquisition guy missed, right? Because once you close on it, you own it, right? I mean, it's important to make sure that what you're buying makes sense 100%, right? Do the walkthrough maybe with a contractor or something. So you guys closed on it, and then did you hire a contractor at that point, or did you start a conversation with somebody ahead of time?
Yeah, so I knew another friend of mine who's a contractor that we actually did I guess a renovation for in Dorchester.
Yeah.
And you know, I saw the work that they did, and I was, you know, happy with it. So I talked to him, and we actually then, you know, walked the property, and we looked at, you know, what the scope was and all that stuff, and then yeah, it just I think we clicked. So it was good, and you know, he does a good job. So we
Perfect. Yeah, you had seen his work before. You like and trust the guy. I mean, that's important. And he was a general contractor?
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So the scope of work for this particular project, so new floors, obviously you gutted it, right? So you know, you got it down to the studs. Yeah. So insulation, new kitchen and baths, pretty much everything, right?
Pretty much everything. New windows, new roof.
New windows, new roof, new siding.
Siding, yeah.
New heating, cooling. Oh my God.
No heating. The heating actually was in good shape.
Nice.
And yeah, because I think before I bought it, they might have done some work on it or something.
Okay.
Wasn't too sure about that, but that was one thing that we didn't have to.
That's awesome. Yeah. And that's like when I started, you know, like I remember the first property in Wayland that I rehabbed, I did everything. So I'm glad that you actually, you know, saw the heating and said, you know what, but maybe this is going to be okay. Right. Because at the end of the day, you know, people are not expecting that to be new construction, you know what I mean? So if it's working, leave it, right? I mean, leave it there. And if it comes back on inspection, then you can talk about it, maybe negotiate, whatever. But don't go and replace it if it's not going to bring you more money. Right. And I'm sure if you put a brand new heating system, I don't think you would have made more.
I don't think so either.
You know, people don't look at that and be like, oh, I got to offer more because you put a brand new heating. So, right. But no, that's I'm glad you did that. Mm-hmm. What did you open any walls? Did you change the layout at all or no?
No. So that's another thing that I think is a lesson learned too. I think there was an opportunity because it's only a 1 bathroom house on that. So, you know, we were thinking about either finishing the basement, you know, put another half bath down there or something, or going 2 stories, right, to make it into a 2-level.
Yeah.
But we kind of decided against that because it, you know, that's because we were kind of using our own cash too. So right. If we wanted to put another level, that's probably another 100 or 50,000, right, or 70,000, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then also for the basement too. So it's added expense. And and at that time it was more like, okay, let's just do what we can. Yeah. And then because we were basically gutted, you know, and then we had to put a new deck on it as well. Yeah. So that we were like, well, let's just fix this up. And
got it. So what did you end up spending on rehab for the property?
So initially, it was a lot because it was like total gut everything and new plumbing, new electrical and everything. So it was I think the initial quote was like 95,000. But then once we got into it, you know, there were some rotted seals that they had to be.
That wasn't part of the scope of work.
Yeah, so it blew that out of the water a little bit. So we had to there was 2 sections where we had to replace it, and they had to jack up the house a little bit, and then, you know, put the new seals in. So in the end, it was about like 100. I think it was like 100, you know, 20, 110, 115, I think, or something like that.
115,000. Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Got it. So you guys went above above the budget for about $20,000, pretty much.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Which is not uncommon. I mean, I wish I could tell you right now that's just, oh wow, why did that happen? But that happens to me almost every time. And with contractors, yes, there are things that they cannot see, so they're giving you a quote on based on what they see, right? It looks like he gave you a quote on everything, labor, materials, everything, which it's good because now you can tell how much it's going to cost you and you can run the numbers. But once he gets in there and starts the project, there are things that come up. And if you don't approve those changes, well, then you are stuck, right? What do you do?
Yeah, exactly. It's like you have to replace the sill, right? I mean, or there's one sill that was, attached to the deck, and it's like if you don't replace it, you're not gonna have a safe deck. So something you just got to do.
Something you got to do. Yeah. On the 95,000, did they give you like a breakdown of everything that was included, or was that more like, hey, I've run the numbers, it's going to cost you 95K?
It was more of that.
Okay.
It was more of that. I think that's another lesson learned too. Like
that's why I bring it up, because I've done that mistake. That's why I wanted to dig more on that. Nothing against the contractor. He might be great, and I think he's priced right based on these numbers. But I feel like it's super important for us as investors to get something detailed. Contractors don't like that because they don't want to sit down and put down every little thing. But without every little thing in writing, you got nothing to go back and be like, well, this was covered or this wasn't covered. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah.
But also, Enis, though, when we did the scope of work and the payment structure, we kind of did lay it out like, okay, once you demo and clean out and all that stuff, we cut the first check. So maybe that's the way of them kind of saying how much this costs and stuff. But it's not the detailed version of it.
I like the detailed version, and it doesn't have to come from them. It can come from us, right? There are software nowadays where and they're fairly reasonable priced. The rehab calculator is one we have used in the past, and you go in there and like you create the scope of work, right? Like you go room by room and you put down new floor, new walls, new lights, paint, and it creates a scope of work for each room. And now you can take that and hand it out to them, and then they can put a price and pretty much have everything in writing. I bring it up, like I said, I've done that a couple times. And then when things come up, then they'll be like, well, this wasn't in the scope of work. But you really don't know what's in the scope of work because they didn't give you a detailed one. So if you can work with someone that can really spend an hour or two and give you a scope of work, or you create it and then they approve it and you are all on the same page, and you can make that your contract, like, hey, this is what I expect from you and this is what I give you in return. You touched on something important. So you said you made, how many payments was this 115,000 broken into? Do you remember? Was it 5 or 6 or?
Yeah, like 5 or 6.
5 or 6 payments.
Signing the contract was like 10,000 to get started and all that stuff, and then afterwards it was maybe like 15 and then 20, then so it's about like 6, I think 6.
Yeah, and I like that a lot. I like that a lot because you are not overpaying, right? I mean, in this case, you knew the contract, you had a good relationship, but you don't want to overpay and then kind of chase the contractor. I just did that mistake a month ago in Natick on our office space where I paid a plumber as a new plumber. Actually, it's not a new plumber. I think he has done like 2 smaller jobs for us. And this is a little bit bigger for him. And I paid him $5,000 up front. And I'm chasing him around. So he bought some pipes and stuff. And that's about it. He hasn't showed up. It's been like 3 weeks. So ideally you don't want to work with someone like that. You want to work with someone that actually starts the work and maybe you give them a couple thousand after he buys the materials. And that's how you do it, because at 5,000 I'm losing money that way. He has nothing to lose. He can walk away and go to another job site. Obviously I'll never work with him again, but So that's important. I bring this up, like I said, I love pointing things that don't go right because I learn from this. I mean, I learn from these conversations a lot. So, all right, cool. So, 115,000. What I'm thinking is, what is that per square feet? Do you know how big the house was?
Yeah, it was a small little ranch. It was like 1,096 square feet, I believe.
Okay, so
Yeah,
it looks like it's right around $100 per square feet.
something like, yeah. So it's a little bit higher, right?
Yeah, no, I'm right. If I do a full gut rehab, I'm right around 100
100.
with my
Okay.
guys. Yeah. So, and I typically pull, I typically don't hire GC. I pull my own permit.
Right.
So I think that's why I'm thinking you got a decent price from your guy.
Right.
I don't think it was overpriced. But if you're doing a full gut rehab, and especially if you're moving walls around, I'm at about $100 per square feet just on rehab,
Okay.
and that's all in. I'm talking about all materials, labor, everything.
Right.
So yeah, no, you are right in line. I don't think you overpaid by any means. Typically South Shore is cheaper, right? But I think you hired a Boston contractor, right? So
Yeah.
at the end of the day,
He was from Quincy, so he does a lot of work in Boston and stuff.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, so I think you're right. Using $100 per square feet as a rule of thumb, I think it makes a lot of sense. Like when I look at a property that needs a full gut, even without seeing it, if I know it's a full gut, I'll probably do the $100 per square feet to come up with my rehab budget.
Right.
And if I'm under it, great, that's my profit. If I go over it, well, I probably missed something. But 100, it's a safe number. New construction, it's totally different. But if we're talking about rehab of an existing structure, pretty cookie cutter type of house, that's $100 in the greater Boston area makes sense.
Okay.
And I know guys that do it for 50. I know guys that do it for 75. It depends on who is doing the work. Are you hiring a GC or not, right?
Yeah.
So cool. All right. So tell me a little bit about the selling process. So how did that go? Were you you were the listing agent, right? Yeah.
I was listening.
Yeah. Okay.
So that actually made it a little bit, even a little bit more, like nervous about it, right?
Yeah.
Anxious, I would say. Just because you wanted to sell and stuff. So the process was pretty straightforward and stuff like that. You get the listings. So when we did the CMA and all that stuff, the whole thing about COVID. So when we bought the house, we closed in December, and we kind of started work in middle of December, and then actually it took us a while because of the COVID. That I think we had to suspend construction for about two months or so. So actually looking back on it, that actually helped us because like I was saying before, our first ARV, one of the houses that we were comping, it was a lower price and stuff. So with that delay, there's more houses that came on the market in the spring market. And then at that time, the whole COVID thing, we were afraid that it was going to drop, but then everything kind of ticked up even faster and higher.
Yeah.
So that actually helped us because when I started to sell, we saw houses that were going way above, and even more, right? So I was like, oh, I can actually list it for that much.
Yeah.
And so we did. And then first couple of weeks, it wasn't like the 40 offers that you get, Enis.
Oh man, no, I don't get 40 offers, but some properties go, do well. Depends. It also depends on the area, I mean, and I think, we'll talk about price strategy in a second, but I think, I mentioned to you also how I price them, aggressive. So, but yeah, I don't want to interrupt you. So, you listed, open house was pretty busy, right? I remember asking you about it.
Yeah, the first open house was pretty busy. There was, but it was again, it wasn't like the 50 that you have people lining outside the door. But like you said, it might be because it was like Halifax and stuff. But we got a good showing, and then it did, at the first, not many interest in putting offers and stuff like that, which is fine. So we had another open house, and then same thing, and then we dropped the price.
Okay.
Well, I think about 2 weeks after, or 3 weeks
Okay.
after, I believe. And then so we dropped it from 389 and we dropped it to 379.
Okay.
And then that's when that was like middle, I guess middle, late June, early July, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's when everything, went up like crazily, right?
That's awesome. Yeah.
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 So then when we dropped it, we got a lot of people showings and stuff like that, um, and then we got offers, and then we got more offers, and then we finally said, okay, we got multiple, what's the best and highest,
Yeah.
and then we got one that we liked, and
Nice.
so we took it.
Cool. Um, what did you accept, if you don't mind me asking?
Sure. So we accepted 384.9.
Okay.
So it was below what we originally asked, but then it was higher than what we dropped it down from price to.
Yeah. Because ideally you were hoping for like 400, I think.
Yeah, at
Something like
first, because that's what we were looking at, but
Yeah.
I kind of toned it down a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I listed it originally at 389.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Mhm.
All right. So what was, were you surprised that people didn't offer 400, or what, was there a reason why people didn't offer 400? Was it because there were no comps for it, or was it something wrong with the house, or something the house was missing? Like, what was the reason? Do you know?
It was the size of the house, I think,
Yeah.
and the bathroom. I think because they only got one bathroom, and
Yeah.
it was like one level, and there's no extra bathroom. I think if we had the extra half bath or something somewhere,
Yeah.
that might have helped, and that
Yeah.
might have pushed it a little higher. But the house was more like for a first-time home buyer, right?
Yeah.
Or downsizer. So like,
Yeah.
that's a big pool, but then you miss out on all the family, the ones with the family, right? That's like the majority of the home buyers, right? So that's one of the things I think that didn't give us enough. But yeah, I think it was the size of the house and the bathroom.
Okay. And when you say the bathroom, it wasn't big, or they just needed a second bathroom? Is that what they were looking for?
Yeah, because it was like one full bath. It was good size,
Yeah.
you could it was one vanity and stuff, but nowadays a lot of families, they want the extra half bath, right? Or
Yeah.
it helps with
Yeah.
convenience, right? So
Got it. No, it makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
So I mean, I'm running numbers really quick. It looks like you guys still made a profit, though.
We did.
Might not have been what you were hoping for, right? But it still at least was a positive project, right? It's I mean, typically the first flip, it's not the one you're gonna make a lot of money. If you make money, actually, that's a plus. You'll learn a ton, right? I mean, that's from experience. But like, you don't go in thinking that you're gonna make a ton of money, just because you have never done it before. So there are things that you miss.
Right.
Like when you were in numbers, you're hoping to get a certain ARV and you didn't hit that. That was part of your profit if you hit it, that, right? Or if the fact that you went over budget, that's also part of your profit.
Right.
I think a couple of smart moves on your end was definitely the fact that it was a cash deal, and you saved on hard money lending, because otherwise with a hard money lender, I don't think this would have been, profitable. And then the fact that you listed your own deal, there's nothing wrong with that, and you got your commission, at least you pocketed that.
Right.
I remember my first flip, was purchase price, I think was like 360 or something. It was a 660 sale price.
Okay.
I made zero money from the flip, and
Really?
my only profit, zero. And my only profit was the commission. That I think was like $10,000 or something. And I was happy. I mean, we spent a lot of money, and it looked like there was enough margin there, because we, it was like $300,000 to be, for repairs and holding costs and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, that $300,000 was all expenses. I think it cost us like over $200 to renovate it. and then all the expenses, right? The hard money lender, the holding costs, closing costs, the commission to the buyer side. So all that is gonna add up. So cool.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, that was the whole mindset going into it, was that, because, we've done renos before and it's always been kind of delayed and over budget and stuff. So, and this was an extensive reno. So we were able to, lucky enough to be able to pay cash on it, and then pay cash with the reno as well.
Yeah.
So that kind of made us feel more comfortable. Like if we had the pressure from the hard money lender, then I think things would have been a little different.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. Cool. So first of all, congratulations. Like I said, it's not a small task. So we make it sound like it's easy, but it you described it really well. And it looks like it was just an easy process, but I know you went through a lot. And what did they take you? Like 6 months from purchase to close, pretty much, or
well,
more?
We purchased it early December, and then we closed in, I think
August. Was it end of August?
Like recent August. Yeah, so it was like.
Yeah, well, with COVID and everything, I mean, still that's impressive. It's not because they take a long time. I mean, those projects will take it. I mean, depends on the scope of work, but they take quite a while.
Right.
So pricing strategy. So before I forget, and I think I mentioned this to you when we had a conversation, and I don't know if it's right or wrong, right? I don't know what works best, but for us, what has been working is to list them slightly under market.
Right.
So if typically before I list the property, I want to see on the MLS who is my competitor, who is who is out there, and also go back at the last 3 months or 6 months and see what's sold. And at that point, I'll probably price it 5% under market, right? And when I started, I was worried about that. I didn't understand that concept because I was thinking, well, what I'm pricing it is what's going to sell.
Right.
And that's not true. I mean, for us at least, what you price is just a marketing strategy. It's nothing to do with what's going to sell. Right. Basically, what we create by underpricing the property, we bring a ton of people in the door. And I can at that point have multiple offers, right? And if people are bumping into each other into these open houses, now it becomes a more desirable product. Because if I'm there, you are there, Yon is there, other people are there. Now, we all want it, right? So it becomes like, oh, this is going to sell fast. Right. So that's what we want to create. And sometimes we go out and invite friends and invite neighbors, we want people to be there. We want people to be in line. And that is, I've told you, before that has worked really well where we get 5, 6, 10. I mentioned the one in Acton where we had like 18 offers. It took me all day to review them. It's not a bad position to be in, right? It's good to have multiple offers because now you can tell them, hey, I want highest and best, right? And then they compete with each other. And that's the best position as a seller to be in because you can get a higher price. You listed it a little higher, and again, there's nothing wrong with that. But the fact, when you drop the price a little bit, now people, they think they have leverage against you, and they think that, well, there's nobody out there offering on this, so let me offer even less than what they're asking, or what's wrong with property, why this one didn't sell, and why, so that's the risk we face if we price it a little higher. I feel like if we price it lower, market will bring up where it's supposed to. If we price it high and come down, I just don't like that strategy, honestly, I mean, it worked great for you because you still got multiple offers even by lowering it. I think that was perfect price point. So, that worked out. But I just wanted to share what's been working well with us. Like if I underprice it, I'm not shooting myself in the foot. It's not like I'm giving it away. People bring us to market value with their offer, so yeah, cool. All right, so now that's done, what's next? Are you going to do another flip or no?
No, definitely. I've learned so much, and actually, and as I want to thank you and Yoni for hosting those meetups and stuff like that. that helps
Thank you.
a lot, and it gets us with the other guys that are doing the job too and stuff like that. And just the networking is tremendous, and it gives you a boost you a lot. It gives you a lot of confidence, right? When you're talking like when you have somebody like you in the corner and stuff like that to talk to.
Yeah.
So yeah, so my we're looking. We got I got my girls looking in MLS daily to find projects to do. But I'm also picking up the off market, the direct mail campaigns and all that stuff,
That's awesome.
and just trying to meet up with or network with wholesalers and stuff like that. So
yeah, no, I highly recommend that part. I'm a big advocate of that part of the business. If you can find anything off market, it's obviously worth spending the time there. Just because anything on the MLS, like you said, with the Halifax property, they were asking 115, and they bumped you up to 215. So personally, in my business, I'm trying to avoid that. Like imagine if you had found out that Halifax owner on your own, and you would have picked it up for 150 because that's what they wanted, right? So that's going direct to seller. It's like my goal every single time. It's hard. It's not easy, but so yeah, if you can do any activity that gets you in front of people like that, even if they have an agent, but as long as it's not on the MLS and it's just you and the sellers negotiating, I think that puts you in a better position.
Right.
And I agree with the meetup. Meetups are great, and that's why honestly we started it. Was a little selfish on my end too, because I wanted to meet other people. I wanted to get out of my comfort zone. Like I told you before, I'm not good at public speaking. I used to be terrified. I'm doing better, obviously, because I'm practicing. But so that's why we did it, and just wanted to network. But I remember being, in the other shows where I was going to the meetups like Black Diamond and stuff, and like you said, it was huge. It gave me a lot of energy, and it showed me that yes, people are doing it. So why not me? Right. And just put you out there with people that are likely minded. They are doing deals. You can ask questions, and it just puts you in a better position to do that next deal,
Right.
So
just the whole experience of, going through the whole rehab, it definitely, gives you more confidence and stuff. And then, so I want to keep going.
Absolutely. And I'll keep you in mind for anything that comes my way that I'm looking to wholesale, but also people from the meetup that, are going to watch this. And if they have a lead, two things I want to ask. One is first, how they can reach out to you. And then two, what exactly are you looking for in what areas?
Sure. So what exactly I'm looking for? I like to start, I think, with like basic ranch or a cape, something like that, like 3-bed, 1-bath, something that it's simple that we can do.
I love that.
In the areas, I prefer to be in the Metro West area, but obviously, I went to Halifax, so I can go anywhere. But I prefer to be in the Metro West area, and so I can be more hands-on, or even just be more proactive, or not proactive, but just be more active in the whole process. And then you please reach out. You can reach me at kudos88realty@gmail.com, or my phone at 508-561-4286. And
William, you're open to answering any questions from someone that's looking for a flip, and if they want some feedback, right? You're willing to kind of to share and give them some feedback. Yeah, cool.
Definitely.
Awesome. I know you are. That's why I wanted to bring it up. So people, whoever is watching, he even gave out his phone number, but definitely reach out, because it's if you have a deal on your hands and you want a second set of eyes on it, send it to me, send it to Will. That's the best resource. You don't have to go through the process alone, right? You can get a second set of eyes on it and get some feedback. Cool, man. I'm glad we did this. I told you it was gonna be easy. It's not,
No,
I know you're more like me, where you're I don't know. I think we're both introverts at a certain degree,
I think we are, but I think once you get to know somebody, it definitely opens up a lot, right?
Yeah.
We just like we're like a book afterwards. So
I'm glad that Lisa connected us. I'm glad that you came to the meetups before. I think obviously we'll be in touch, and so we're gonna go back to the meetups shortly, maybe with a smaller group or something, you know. But yeah, I'm really glad that you jumped in, shared with everybody, and like I said, I'll keep an eye out for a wholesale, something that might make sense, you know, for you. So all right, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you and to share my story. So
cool. All right, we'll talk soon. Thanks, bye.
Thanks.
Take care. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.